And we'll begin. Om Gurubhyastadgurubhyascha Namo Vakamedhimahe Vrinimahe cha tatradyau Dampati Jagatampati Shri Krishna Vagishayatishwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankana Bhashya Saram Shri Nutnarangendra Yatau Samarpitasvam Shri Krishna Maryam Guru Varyamide Virodhe Kartike Mase Shatatara Kritodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guru Varyamaham Bhaje Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I'd like to start the session with chanting of the Śraddhāṃ. So I'll just share my screen so that everybody can follow the mantra. So Shivani, just let me know if you're able to see this.
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
Okay. So basically Śraddhāṃ, Suktam basically means a song, a hymn of praise. Well said is basically the literal translation of Suktam. And this Suktam is basically a hymn in praise of goddess Śraddhā. And always all of these mantras have an original, Rishi, who was the original seer of the mantra. But interestingly, for Śraddhāṃ, the original Rishi is actually a Rishika. And her name is Śraddhā Kāmayini. So it's a very beautiful connection that we have with Śraddhāṃ. So I just wanted to, highlight that fact that, for this particular Suktam, it is a Rishika and not a Rishi. Okay, so I will chant this entire Suktam and then I will continue with my presentation. So I would like you all to follow the presentation on the screen. Om Śraddhayagni samidhyate Śraddhaya vindate havihi Śraddhāṃ bhagasya murdhani vachasa vedayamasi Priyaggo Śraddhe dadataha Priyaggo Śraddhe didasataha Priyam bhojeshu yajvasu Idam uditam kridhi Yatha deva asureshu Śraddhā mugreshu chakrire Evam bhojeshu yajvasu Asmakam uditam kridhi Śraddhāṃ deva yajamanaha Vayurgopa upasate Śraddhā gunghridaya kutya Śraddhaya huyate havihi Śraddhāṃ pratarhavamahe Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari Śraddhā gung suryasya nimrichi Śraddhā Shraddhe Shraddhapaye Hama Śraddhā Devanadhivaste Śraddhā Vishvamidam Jagat Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram Havisha Vardhayamasi. I'll just take a moment, stop sharing this screen, and I will share my presentation. Just let me know if you're able to see this, Shivani.
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
Okay. So what I wanted to begin with is, this title, Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. It's actually Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. When we chant it, it becomes Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. That's why I chanted it like that, because of the rules of Anuswara, or this bindu that is here, and it is followed by a ka. So Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram becomes Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram, according to the rules of Vedic chanting. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit, about mantra. See, I don't remember a time in my own life when I have not been nourished or nurtured by mantra. I think I must have started chanting at the age of 4 or 5, Bhagavad Gita chanting, a lot of, mantras and shlokas from the Vedas, from the Upanishads. So my entire childhood was pretty much shaped, by chanting all of these mantras. So this has been a very important aspect of my life. And I really feel that, this definition of mantra, mananat trayate iti mantraha, has been, very, very true for me. And what this basically means is that mantra is something that protects you. When you contemplate on a mantra, when you keep chanting a mantra basically protects you. And basically mantra protects you and nourishes you and guides you through your journey of life. So it's whether it is your childhood, whether, as you're growing up, when you're in college or you're going to school, or whether you are, married, or through motherhood, through, nurturing and nourishing your children, whatever it may be. So every aspect of your life, this journey of life is nourished and nurtured by mantra. And it's a very beautiful, aspect of our tradition. It generates such positive vibrations in the body, and it generates so much of positivity in the body. It gives you a sense of security, it gives you a sense of protection. So mantra is a very beautiful aspect of our tradition, and I think it is important that all of us connect with mantra, through various ways. Maybe we are listening to a mantra, maybe we are chanting a mantra, maybe we are writing a mantra, maybe we are reading the meaning of a mantra. In whatever way possible, it is very important that we connect with mantras, because they are nothing but positivity. They bring about a sense of peace, they bring about a sense of calmness, they bring about a sense of tranquility. Okay, so Śraddhāsuktam, the one that I chanted now, is basically from the oldest reference of this is from the Rig Veda, but the version that I chanted is from the Yajurveda. Basically, our tradition, we chant Śraddhāsuktam, that the version that is found in the Yajurveda. There might be slight differences in the way it is chanted. And as I said, the Devata, or the divinity, is goddess Śraddhā. And the seer of the mantra is a Rishika, Śraddhā Kāmayini. And, when I think about my own life, see, my mother is there. She's, 82 years old. Physically she is there. But when I think about my own life, along with my mother, I definitely feel the presence of Śraddhā as a mother in my life. I feel the presence of Śraddhā as a mother, as I feel the presence of Śraddhā as a guide. I feel the presence of Śraddhā as, somebody who's, held my hand through this journey of life. So it's a very beautiful connection that I share with the concept of Śraddhā. And, this is why this came to me when Shivani told me, like, Chitra ji, can you please, do a session for Mother's Day? So immediately I thought of this. I said, especially from the line Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. And basically what that line means is that Śraddhā will, fulfill your desires the way a mother will fulfill your desires. So it's a very beautiful aspect of Śraddhā that is presented in the Suktam, which I will come to. So what is Śraddhā? What is the concept of Śraddhā? So there's a very beautiful shloka by Adi Shankaracharya, which I would like to chant here for a moment. It is from the Viveka Chudamani. It's the 25th shloka, I think. And it basically defines Śraddhā. And the way, this shloka goes is like this. Om Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharanam Sa Śraddhā Kathita Sadbhihi Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. So the important aspect of this shloka, the last line says, Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. That means through the Śraddhā, like the previous line says, Sa Śraddhā Kathita Sadbhihi. So like the wise and the noble people call this Śraddhā, which will allow you to reach your final goal. And what are they talking about? They're talking about, like in our tradition, the final goal is always liberation. So basically what this shloka says is that Śraddhā will hold your hand like a mother and lead you to the final goal of liberation, which is called Kaivalyam or Moksha or Nirvana or whatever that may be. Okay, and what is Śraddhā according to this shloka? It is basically faith in the scriptures and faith in the words of the teacher. So Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharanam. So basically, having faith that what the teacher is teaching you is true, having faith that the scriptures, what the scriptures are saying is true. That is basically the concept of Śraddhā. And in the journey of spirituality, this is a very, very important concept, because when you start your journey with doubt, if you have doubt, along this path, you will not move forward on your spiritual journey. And Śraddhā is considered to be a cornerstone for success in any endeavor. Not just in spirituality, in almost any other endeavor in life, Śraddhā is considered to be the cornerstone for success. We hear, Śraddhā being, translated as faith. Śraddhā, we hear that faith can move mountains. And what is Śraddhā? Śraddhā is, when we say faith, it may not, convey the true essence of Śraddhā. Śraddhā is basically devotion that comes from the heart. It gives us the strength to persevere even in the face of greatest difficulties. So it is, often referred to as bhakti visheshaha. So basically Śraddhā is something that, is special. Śraddhā is a special form of devotion. So basically when you chant a mantra, for example, with Śraddhā, you will be chanting it not just from your lips, you'll be chanting it from your heart. When you do any other activity in your life, if you do it with Śraddhā, basically what that means is that you will be doing it with devotion. You'll be doing it from the very core of your being. That is basically the concept of Śraddhā. And I think all of our regional languages have this concept of Śraddhā. Even in Tamil, my mother tongue is Tamil, we say Śraddhaya Panna. When we say Śraddhaya Panna, it doesn't mean just do it with sincerity. It basically means that do it with devotion and do it from your heart. So anything that you do it from your heart with an attitude of devotion. It is basically, filled with Śraddhā. Okay. So Śraddhā is a divine mother. It's a very, very beautiful concept. Śraddhāsuktam, as I said, basically, presents Śraddhā as a goddess, and also presents Śraddhā as a divine mother who will nourish and nurture you. And Śraddhā is something that if you have Śraddhā in your life, one thing is for sure, she will protect you, she will nourish you. At the same time, she will hold your hand and lead you like a mother. She will give you the energy to persevere in the face of difficulty, and she will fulfill all your desires. If you have Shraddha in this path, and if you move forward on this path with intense Shraddha, all your desires on this path will be fulfilled. And what are the desires on this path? The desires on this path are to move towards the final goal of liberation. In our tradition, that is the final goal. For each and every one of us, whether we understand it or not, the final goal is liberation. So Shraddha as a divine mother is a very, very beautiful aspect of this journey. If we think about it, I'm sure in many of your own individual spiritual journeys, you must have felt, the guidance of Shraddha. We may not be able to, say like, okay, this, whatever is guiding me is Shraddha. But if you have faith in this journey, and if you do it with devotion from your heart, you certainly have Shraddha. And basically what the scriptures say is that the more intense your Shraddha, the closer you will, reach your goal. You will reach towards your goal. So if you have intense Shraddha, you will move forward. Shraddha will fulfill your desires. So basically, Shraddha as a divine mother is a very, very beautiful and lovable concept, in my opinion. So what does the presence of Shraddha do? So when we have Shraddha, we definitely have a sense of happiness and peace. We feel that somebody is looking out for us. We feel that somebody is, supporting us on this journey. And when we feel that support, when we feel that aspect of, stability in our path, definitely we have, happiness, we have peace. And this energizes us, and it gives us self-belief, on this journey or in any other journey in life, not necessarily spirituality. But then if you have Shraddha, any other journey in life can become spiritual. You can make any journey in life spiritual if you have Shraddha. And Shraddha will energize you. She will give you the belief that you can see this journey through till the end, whatever it may be. It may be any simple task. It may be, cooking a meal for your family. It could be, maybe teaching a class. It may be practicing your asanam practice, doing your asanam practice. So basically, she will energize you. She will give you that self-belief. And as I, mentioned earlier, Shraddha will give you the feeling of security. She will give you the feeling of protection, just as a mother will give you a feeling of security, just as a mother will give you a feeling of protection. And Shraddha certainly boosts your inner confidence, inner strength and confidence, because you feel that you are being supported on this journey. Somebody is holding your hand and somebody is leading you forward. So she will give you that inner strength. She will give you that confidence. Okay, so Shraddha, if any undertaking that we do in this life, if we have Shraddha guiding us, if she is holding our hand, definitely she will give us that purpose to move forward. And Shraddha is a very important aspect of any journey in our life, because Shraddha brings humility to our life. And Shraddha, makes us open to new experiences, open to learning. If we have humility, we will be open to learning, and it makes us respect whatever practices we do. If we write a mantra, we will respect it if we have Shraddha for that mantra. If we chant a mantra, we will have respect for chanting that mantra. If we have Shraddha for an asanam practice, we will have respect for our asanam practice. So whatever we do with Shraddha, we will have respect for that. And when we have respect for anything that we do, we will never go wrong. So it is a very, very beautiful aspect of all our journeys. It's just a wonderful aspect of, having this support, while we move forward. So Shraddha, enriches our life, makes it meaningful. It fulfills us. It fills our life with, so much of purpose, with so much of meaning. Okay. So what happens if we don't have Shraddha in our life? We will come to, what Shraddha is according to the Bhagavad Gita. We will come to what Shraddha is according to the Yogasūtras and a couple of other scriptures. So basically, if we don't have Shraddha in whatever we do in our journey, in our spiritual journey, or in any other undertaking that we do, if we don't have Shraddha and we don't have the support of Shraddha in that journey, basically, absence of faith leads to fear and doubt. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, we will see that Krishna will say that if you have continuous doubt, and if you keep, you start a journey with doubt, and you continuously keep questioning the teacher, you continuously keep questioning the scriptures, or you continuously question, the people around you when you're undertaking something in a group, or you continuously question any other undertaking, you basically are filled with doubt, and that leads to fear. And what does that do? It basically leads to a lack of energy. It leads to a lack of disconnection. See, Shraddha brings a beautiful connection within. So we connect with ourselves through, through Shraddha. But when we don't have Shraddha on this journey, basically what happens is that we disconnect with, who we truly are. And disconnection basically leads to disease. That is basically one of the definitions of disease according to, our tradition. When we have, lack of Shraddha, when we have, if we have doubt, it leads to fear, it leads to disconnection, and basically that ends up in disease. And when we don't have Shraddha, see, basically when we have Shraddha, we have security, we have stability. But when we don't have Shraddha, what happens is that we have a lack of stability and a lack of security. We feel, we feel like we are lost on this journey, and we don't know where to go or how to proceed. So it is a very, it's like having doubt on a journey, can take you backwards, several steps, as Shraddha can take you forward. If you have doubt, you just keep moving backwards, and basically it just leads to a lot of lack of energy, and it leads to a lot of instability. And what happens if we don't have Shraddha? We may lose sight of our goals. So basically, if we have Shraddha, we will move forward with purpose, and we will keep our goals in sight. But if we don't have Shraddha and we have doubt, then we lose sight of where we need to go. So we will flounder, we will lose ourselves on this path. And all of these, traditions say that we need to know where to go. One of the first things that we need is to realize what is our goal, and then use the aspect of Shraddha, this beautiful aspect of Shraddha, and allow her to lead us forward on this path. Okay. So as I was saying, there is a very beautiful shloka in the Bhagavad Gita, which basically says that Shraddhaval labhate jnanam. So basically what that means is that the person who is endowed with Shraddha will have that final knowledge, will have the, the knowledge that will lead that person to the final goal. And is it that all of us are, some people are born without Shraddha and some people are born with Shraddha? That is not true. We are all born with Shraddha. Shraddha is an aspect of who we are. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Śraddhāṃ ayoyam purushaha. That means we all have Shraddha. So what is the difference between somebody who has Shraddha and is able to move forward on the spiritual path, and what is the difference between another person who doesn't have Shraddha and is not able to move forward? So basically what the scriptures say, in fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 17th chapter, Krishna will say that there are three kinds of Shraddha. There is Sattvika Shraddha, there is Rajasika Shraddha, and there's Tamasika Shraddha. And the difference between having Sattvika Shraddha and the other two, which are Rajasika and Tamasika, is basically that the mind is polluted. So the mind is filled with, lot of, things that are going to lead us outwards into this world. So we are not able to connect with this concept of Shraddha, this beautiful aspect of Shraddha that is there within us. When we are constantly confused, when we are constantly engaging with, things in this world, and we are increasing, all sorts of vrittis, like even the Yogasūtras, Patanjali will say vrittis of the mind, activities of the mind. The more we engage in this world, or we, maybe we are on the phone all the time, or we are on the computer or watching television, or we are, indulging in food, or we are doing all the wrong things. Basically what we are doing is we are covering the mind with a lot of pollutants. So then in that case, you will never be able to connect with the beautiful aspect of Shraddha. So it is not that we don't have Shraddha. Everybody has Shraddha. In fact, even a person with a lot of pollutants in the mind will have Shraddha, at least for say, faith that tomorrow will dawn, or that tomorrow I will be able to do this, I will be able to go there. So that is also a Shraddha. Even for daily activities, everybody has Shraddha. We have Shraddha that the sun will rise. We have Shraddha that the sun will set. We have Shraddha for so many things that we see on a daily basis. So it's not as if, we all don't have Shraddha. But the beautiful aspect of Śraddhā, which is illustrated in the Śraddhāsuktam, which is basically the goddess Śraddhā, and her as a divine mother who will guide us on this path, is basically that we are covered with pollutants. If we don't look within, we will never be able to connect with this beautiful aspect of Śraddhā as illustrated in the Śraddhāsuktam. Okay, and basically what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita is, as the faith, so the person. So if you have Satvika Shraddha, the kind of Shraddha that we need to, move forward on this path, you will be a person who is, interested in spirituality. You will be a person who will be moving towards the final goal. But if you don't have Satvika Shraddha and you have Shraddha and Rajasika Shraddha and Tamasika Shraddha, you will move backwards on this path. That's what Sri Krishna says. And in fact, he thinks that this aspect of Śraddha is so important that the entire 17th chapter is dedicated to the aspect of Śraddha. It's called Śraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. If anybody wants to go and, look at the shlokas in that chapter, they are really very beautiful. So basically what Krishna says in the 4th chapter, there is the 39th shloka in the 4th chapter goes like this. And basically what this shloka says is that an individual endowed with Śraddha will gain, supreme knowledge. So basically the shloka goes like this. Om Śraddha Vallabhati Jnanam Tatpara Sanyatendriyaha Jnanam Labdhva Param Shantim Achirenadhigacchati. So one who has faith or Śraddha and who with controlled senses is devoted to attaining this wisdom is successful in this endeavor. With wisdom and knowledge, he quickly attains the supreme peace. Okay, and the next shloka, I will not chant that, but I'll just quickly tell you the meaning. Those who are ignorant, untrustworthy, or suspicious are lost. So basically the one who has doubt, all the time doubting the teacher, doubting the scriptures. So that's basically, he calls those people samshayatmanaha. So samshayatma is singular, samshayatmanaha is plural. And basically he says there is no happiness nor success in this world or the next for the doubting soul. So this is such an important aspect of our spiritual journey. Śraddha is such a beautiful concept. And basically what he says is Śraddha will lead the practitioner to everlasting supreme peace. A doubting person will suffer downfall. Okay. I just want to take a moment to talk about Śraddhā, the concept of Śraddhā in the Yogasūtras. So the Yogasūtras of Patañjali, basically yoga is one of the Indian philosophies. And even in that, the importance of Śraddhā is highlighted. Patanjali will say that there are some people who are born into this state, like who are able to move forward on their spiritual journey. They may be from practices from a previous life, but for others, the spiritual path begins with Śraddha. So that is, basically, and the sutram goes Śraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna, Purvaka, Itaresham. So basically Śraddha in Sutrani always, the first word that is there is very important. So the first word in this is basically, in this sutram is basically Śraddha. And that will basically energize everything else, that is required to move forward on this path. And in fact, one of the interesting things about this particular sutram is that Vyasa, who is the commentator, the first commentator on the Yogasūtras of Patañjali will say that Śraddha Janani Iva Yoginam Pati. So Śraddha will sustain a yogi like a benevolent mother. That's what, he actually uses the word Janani. So Śraddha is also thought to be a benevolent mother in the concept of the Yogasūtras as well. In the concept of Śraddha and the Yogasūtras as well. So basically Śraddha is followed by Viryam in that sutram. So basically if we have Śraddha, we will have the energy to pursue our goals, and Shraddha will give you clarity of mind. So this is a very, very beautiful aspect of Shraddha that is illustrated in the Yoga Sutras. Okay, and in the Yoga Sutras, he will also say that there are various degrees of Shraddha that you can have: Mridu, Madhya, and Adhimatraha. So basically, he says that if you have intense Shraddha, the closer your goal will be. So it is entirely up to you what kind of Shraddha that you want to have and how intense you want your Shraddha to be. And all the tools of yoga are empowered by Shraddha. Acharya Desikachar used to say that Shraddha is what brings the tools of yoga alive. And in fact, in the first chapter of the Yoga Sutras, he will talk about, an entity called Ishvara. And he will say that, if you chant, the Ishvara mantra, which is designated as Om, the Pranava mantra, basically he says that you can reach the final goal of Samadhi just by connecting with Ishvara. And how do you connect with Ishvara? You connect with Ishvara through the chanting of Om, because Ishvara is designated with Om. And he says you chant Om with Bhavana. And what does Bhavana mean? Bhavana means Shraddha. And he says that if you chant with Bhavana, it basically results in the vision of your Purusha, which is basically your divinity, and all the obstacles in your life will vanish. You will be free of all the obstacles in your life. So that is how important this aspect of Shraddha is, on our path, on our spiritual journey, according to the scriptures. Okay. There is a very beautiful, quote by Swami Vivekananda, which I really liked. And I thought I will, illustrate this in this presentation. He considered Shraddha to be the most vital and essential quality needed to succeed in life. That's how important he thought that Shraddha was on a spiritual journey. In fact, there are two other, quotes that I wanted to just give me a moment here. So the following are two statements of Swami Vivekananda aptly illustrate how deeply Swamiji valued the cultivation of Shraddha. So he says, to preach the doctrine of Shraddha or genuine faith is the mission of my life. He says to preach the doctrine of Shraddha or genuine faith is the mission of my life. Let me repeat to you that this faith is one of the most potent factors of humanity and of all religions. First, have faith in yourselves. Know that though one may be a little bubble and another may be a mountain high wave, yet behind both the bubble and the wave, there is an infinite ocean. Okay. And the second thing he says, what makes the difference between man and man is the difference in the Shraddha and nothing else. What makes one man great and another weak and low is Shraddha. This Shraddha is what I want and what all of us here want. This faith in ourselves and before you is the task to get that faith. Give up the awful disease that is creeping into our national blood. The idea of ridiculing everything, that loss of seriousness, give that up. Be strong and have the Shraddha, and everything else is bound to follow. So these two statements by Swami Vivekananda illustrate how important and how vital and how essential a quality he thought that Shraddha was on this path. So I just found this very beautiful. So I wanted to share this. Okay. Now, basically what I want to do is I want to teach you these two mantras from the Śraddhāsuktam, mantra 5 and mantra 6. So mantra 5 is basically Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. So those who can read it from Devanagari are welcome to do that. Those who cannot read Devanagari are welcome to look at the transliterated Roman version of the Sanskritam. So basically all these symbols that you see basically indicate the way, Sanskrit is represented in Roman. Okay, so don't get confused. So basically this mantra says, Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. So basically what that means is that we invite her in the morning. We invite Śraddhā in the morning. We need Śraddhā in the morning. If we start our day with Śraddhā, it is a very beautiful thing. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. So basically we invite Śraddhā during midday. If we continue to have Śraddhā during the middle of the day, that is very beautiful. Śraddhāgum suryasya nimrichi. So basically what that means is that we invite Śraddhā at dusk when the sun sets. So basically the entire day we are asking Śraddhā to remain with us. And Śraddhe Śraddhā paye hama. So when we say Śraddhe, we are addressing Goddess Śraddhā. So in Sanskritam, when we, like if I call Śraddhā or I address Śraddhā, I will call her Śraddhe. That is the way it is. It is called a Sambodhanam in Sanskritam. So I am, requesting Śraddhā to endow me with Śraddhā. Śraddhā paye hama. Fill me with Śraddhā. And I'm requesting the Goddess Śraddhā to do that for me. Okay, before I teach you the chanting of this, I will show you mantra 6 as well. Śraddhā devanadhivaste. So basically Śraddhā resides in the gods. So I want Śraddhā to reside in me so that I also am godlike. And Śraddhā Vishwamidam Jagat. So Vishwamidam Jagat is pronounced as Vishwamidam Jagat through the rules of Sanskritam. So basically what that means is that this entire world is filled with Śraddhā. This entire world operates with Śraddhā. This entire world functions with Śraddhā. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. This is the title of this session. Basically what that means is Śraddhā is, a mother who will fulfill all our desires. And Havisha Vardhayamasi, with an offering, we are, asking Śraddhā to, grow within us. Basically we want Śraddhā to grow within us. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chant each line twice. So you listen the first time, you can all remain muted so that there is no clash, or there is no echo. So what you can do is the second time I chant, you can just join me. Okay, so basically the first line, I'm just going to say Om for the pitch. Om Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. I'm going to chant that again. You can join me if you wish to. Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. Second line. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhāgum suryasya nimrichi. So basically this symbol that you see here, or this GM that you see here, is basically one of the chanting rules in the Yajurveda. Basically when there is a bindu like this, which is followed by a sa, it becomes, the bindu becomes gung. It is pronounced as gung. This is basically the way it is chanted in the Yajurveda. So the way to chant this line is Śraddhāgum suryasya nimrichi. I'll chant that again. Śraddhāgum suryasya nimrichi. Śraddhe Śraddhā paye hama. Śraddhe Śraddhā paye hama. I'll chant these 4 lines once again. Om Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. Once more. Śraddhāṃ pratar havamahe. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhā gung suryasya nimrichi. Śraddhā gung suryasya nimrichi. Śraddhe śraddhāpaye hamā. Śraddhe śraddhāpaye hamā. I just want to point out one thing before we go on to the next verse. Because this mantra is from the Vedas, there are swaras in Vedic mantras. So the way to chant like Śraddhāṃ, Śraddhāṃ, so there's a low note and there is a medium note. So basically those rules are given to us from the tradition. So basically Vedic mantras are Shruti. And basically they have swaras which have been given to us by the divine. They have come to us in that, the way they need to be chanted is the way that they were given to us by the divine. So we don't have the flexibility to change the way we chant these mantras. We need to chant them exactly the way they have been given to us. So for example, in the last line, Śraddhe śraddhāpaye hamā. So that ma is basically a double high note. It's called a nigadham. So that's why it is chanted like that. Okay, you will find that in a lot of Vedic mantras, you will find that there are swaras. So just like in, music, there are 7 notes. In Vedic chanting, there are 3 notes. And there are other rules that need to be followed, that it has to be, pronounced properly. Otherwise, the meaning of the mantra will change. So Śraddhā has to be pronounced as Śraddhā. It cannot be pronounced as Śraddhā or anything else. So all of the pronunciations need to be correct. Each and every alphabet needs to be pronounced properly. The connections have to be pronounced properly. We cannot, stop or we cannot pause wherever we want. There are rules in Vedic chanting as to how we pause, where we give a respectful pause, the way, how do we connect the swaras, which is a, Mahaprana like dha, which is a Alpa Prana like da. So there are several rules, in Vedic chanting. And this is something that we need to respect and honor, because this is part of our tradition. So we can't, basically do chant mantras however we want. We need to maintain the sanctity of the mantras. We need to maintain the tradition of the mantras because they are divine. Okay, so that is something that I wanted to, highlight here. So the next mantra I wanted to chant is mantra 6, and the way to chant it is like this. Śraddhā devānadhivaste. Śraddhā devānadhivaste. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Havisha vardhayamasi. Havisha vardhayamasi. I'll do this once again from the beginning. Śraddhā devānadhivaste. Śraddhā devānadhivaste. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Havisha vardhayamasi. Havisha vardhayamasi. So we will do this once more in a moment. But what you can do to, sort of invite Śraddhā into your life, or basically strengthen Śraddhā into your life, bring her support even more into your life. Basically, what you can do is you can incorporate these mantras in your daily prayers. These mantras are quite simple. I think everybody can learn how to chant them from this presentation. And you can, incorporate them, maybe in your morning prayers or your evening prayers, or maybe you can, chant them before you sleep even, so that, you wake up in the morning with Shraddha. Okay, I would like to do this one more time, each line twice. You can chant the second time with me. Om Śraddhāṃ pratarhavāmahe. Śraddhāṃ pratarhavāmahe. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhāṃ madhyandinam pari. Śraddhā gung suryasya nimrichi. Śraddhā gung suryasya nimrichi. Śraddhe śraddhāpaye hama. Śraddhe śraddhāpaye hama. Śraddhā devanadhivaste. Śraddhā devanadhivaste. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhā vishvamidam jagat. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Śraddhāṃ Kāmasya Mātaram. Havisha vardhayamasi. Havisha vardhayamasi. I hope you were able to follow this mantra. Now, the last thing I want to do in this presentation is basically give you a short mantra as well, basically for Shraddha. So, Om Śraddhāyai Namah. So, basically, Om is the Pranava mantra. And always in our tradition, when we chant Om, there is a pause after that. According to the rules of chanting, to give the Pranava mantra the respect that it deserves, and to honor the Pranava mantra, after we chant Om, we pause for a moment, and then we chant the rest of the mantra. So the rest of the mantra is Om Śraddhāyai Namah. So we are saluting Śraddha, and since Śraddha is she is a goddess. So it's like, Sita Yai Namaha. So it's basically in the Chaturthi Vibhakti, if anybody is familiar with, the conjugations in Sanskritam. So Śraddhā Yai Namaha. So I'm offering my salutations to Śraddha. Okay. And the way we are going to chant this is Om. Pause. Śraddhāyai Namaha. I'll chant that again. Om Śraddhāyai Namaha. So what I would like all of you to do is close your eyes. If you wish to join your palms, you can join your palms, or sit in a comfortable position. We are going to chant this mantra 21 times. So close your eyes, fill your heart with Śraddha, invite Śraddha, tell her to guide you on this journey. And we are going to honor her through this mantra. So I will be chanting it. I will keep count. And you may all chant along with me. Okay? Om Śraddhāyai Namaha. Om Śraddhāyai Namaha. Śraddhāyai Namaha. Om 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 Śraddhāyai Namaha. Kindly continue to keep your eyes closed. Let's take a few moments of silence, honoring Śraddhā, the Divine Mother, honoring Śraddhā, the Divine Goddess, and honoring the Rishika, Śraddhā Kāmayini. Kindly open your eyes whenever you're ready. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.